What government has shut down means. It means that some, but not all, U.S. government services are temporarily suspended, and 40% of the federal workforce, about 750,000 people, are expected to be put on unpaid leave. Although budget confrontations are common in U.S. politics, this spending fight is especially tense because President Donald Trump has drastically reduced the size of the national government since taking office, and has suggested he may use the current impasse to make further cuts. The shutdown happened because Republicans and Democrats could not agree to pass a bill funding government services into October and beyond. Under the U.S. system, the different branches of government have to reach an agreement on spending plans before they can become law. The Republicans currently control both chambers of Congress, but in the Senate, or upper chamber, they are short of the 60 votes needed to pass the spending bill, which gives opposition Democrats some negotiating power. They want to see an extension of expiring tax credits, which make health insurance cheaper for millions of Americans, and for a reversal of Trump's cuts to Medicaid, a government health care program used by millions of elderly, disabled, and low-income people. Democrats also oppose spending cuts to government health agencies. A stopgap bill designed to avoid the shutdown was passed in the House, or lower chamber, but did not clear the Senate. And so, at 01 EDT on Wednesday 1st October 0401 GMT, it became official. The U.S. had its first shutdown for nearly 7 years. Which government services will stop, and which will carry on? Not all aspects of government will shut down. Services deemed essential will continue as normal, although in many cases, staff will not be paid for the duration of the shutdown. Border protection and law enforcement staff, immigration and customs enforcement, ICE agents, in-hospital medical care, and air traffic control workers are expected to operate as usual. Social Security and Medicare checks will still be sent out, although benefit verification and card issuance work may stop. Government employees deemed non-essential will be temporarily put on unpaid leave. Contractors who work for federal agencies but are not directly employed by the government will miss out on work too. Services like the Food Assistance Program and federally funded preschool and institutions like the Smithsonian Museums will likely be reduced or closed. Several agencies, like the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and the National Institutes of Health, NIH, are also expected to furlough many workers, affecting ongoing research projects. National parks and forests remained open during the last shutdown in 2018, but with few or no staff, which experts said led to a rise in vandalism, littering, and looting of historical sites. There could also be travel delays. The Airlines for America trade body warned that flight systems might need to slow down, reducing efficiency. Passport agencies have also warned that it could take longer than usual to process travel documents. Jobs, travel, national parks. What impact will the shutdown have? 18 ways the 2018 shutdown hurt. Mail will still be delivered and post offices will remain open because the U.S. Postal Service does not depend on Congress for funding. Most American schools are state-funded, but the federal government is responsible for billions of dollars in grants and student loans, which could effectively come to a halt. However, because the grants are typically awarded during the summer, they will be largely unaffected during this shutdown, according to the Education Secretary. Members of Congress will also still be paid, a convention that has been criticized by some politicians. In the past, lengthy government shutdowns were usually seen as politically dangerous, hampering voters' everyday lives and the reputation of lawmakers and the president. After previous shutdowns were resolved, government operations mostly returned to normal, with staff and spending levels largely going back to what they had been before. However, this time, the White House appears more than happy to shutter large parts of the U.S. government for an extended period. Over the past 9 months, the Trump administration has slashed government spending and sacked many federal workers, testing the boundaries of presidential power. Officials have threatened to use the shutdown to identify more non-essential workers who could be permanently let go.
We'll be laying off a lot of people, Trump said on Tuesday 30th September, the day before the shutdown began. White House says layoffs imminent.
While both Democrats and Republicans are blaming each other for the current standoff, they did make last-ditch efforts to try to avoid it. On Monday 29th September, Trump met all 4 congressional leaders, the top Democrats in the House and Senate as well as their Republican counterparts, but little progress was made, and both sides appeared to dig deeper into their positions. How long will the current shutdown last? It is difficult to say. In this case, it really depends when, or if, either of the parties will agree to a compromise.